Hello, I'm Johnny Rowland, your host of our shooting program, and welcome to today's show. Friends, we're so glad to have you. We have a lot of ground to cover today. We have some things I think you're really going to find interesting. I tell you what, we've been telling you the whole time that the federal government had some plans, and the Clintonians and literally the socialists in Washington had some things in mind for us, and yes, they have put some things through. Do you realize now that in law that is already in effect, that Clinton has already signed, that if you go through a school zone and you got a gun in your car, it's not locked up, unloaded and locked, that you face the possibility, if you're stopped and searched, or maybe you have a fender bender in a school zone somewhere, and the police come and they say, wait, hey, is that your gun in your car there? And you say, yeah, it is. They say, well, guess what? You're under arrest. And yes, friends, you can go to jail for up to 5 years for just going within 1,000 feet or so of a school zone if you have a gun in your vehicle. Now that is outrageous. You know what? It's already against policy, against school policy for students to bring guns to school. It's already against the law for kids can't walk around with handguns anyway. I tell you what, friends, this is a very, very troublesome thing, and you need to see if your congressman voted for it. I believe only 37 members of the House of Representatives voted against it. And this is really a troublesome thing. There are other things that we're going to be talking about later on in today's program that have got to be addressed. You know what, friends? These guns are just tools. They're power tools, is in fact what they are. And for all these years in this country, we have trusted the government to some degree, and the government has trusted the citizens. See, that's what it's all about. Now your government does not trust you. See, when the government does not trust us, I flatly do not think we should trust the government. Now these are serious things that we'll be talking about later on in the program. Meanwhile, we still have some guns out here, and we can still have fun with them and shoot them. I'll tell you what, friends, though, it is serious, and this election coming up could be very, very crucial. So anyway, we have a Ruger Super Red Hawk here in 44 Magnum, and I don't know if we'll get time on today's program or not. We have a feature we're working with on this gun, but we have a very special Super Red Hawk we're going to be showing you in just a few minutes that I think you'll really enjoy seeing. Well, let's get another shooting show underway. We have our shot stop out here set up. We have 3 of the different types of shot stops, the big bore, the medium bore, and certainly the 22 set up on the stand down there. And those plates, the larger plates, are 5 inches across. Well, we've got our 44 Magnum with a Burris 2X scope on it. Let's see what it looks like. Yeah, we'll use our little rest here. This is the Sure Sight, which I really do like. Friends, I'll tell you what, as much of these high-powered, or as many of these high-powered handguns as I shoot, I like to wear this pass recoil glove. It really does help in taming recoil. This Super Red Hawk here is certainly not a fearsome gun as far as recoil, but as much as we shoot them, believe me, this little pass glove really does help, because we shoot some pretty big things out here, some 50s and in that area heavy 45 Colts, and it really does make a difference. You need to think about protecting your wrist. Some of the folks that were shooting the ultra high-powered handguns have done damage to the small bones in their hand and their wrist. So there's just no need, if we're out here shooting these boomers. It's just a little extra precaution I take, because I do this more than say the average person. As I've said many times before, I'm someone with moderate capability in shooting any kind of gun, certainly moderate capability with a little practice. And most of you could do at least as well as I do with a little practice. Some of you would do a lot better. So anyway, now then, get our sight set here. Friends, you can consistently hit those smaller targets. It goes to show what these 44 Magnums and these big revolvers will do. Tell you what, we've got a water bottle down here on the string, and let's just shoot it offhand, huh? Which I guess I should put another bullet. We shot 6 times. I put one in the gun. Just happen to have one handy. Now friends, you'll see it says here 50 Action Express caliber, Bowen Classic Arms Corporation, and it also says Super Red Hawk. Now then, this is a Ruger Super Red Hawk that has been converted by Hamilton Bowen in his shop there in Louisville, Tennessee, and it is a very, very refined gun now. He made it into a 5-shot instead of a 6-shot. A gun that will take this full moon clip here, loaded with 50 Action Express cartridges. Well, let's go ahead and load it. You'll notice you can load all 5 there very easily. And let me tell you what, friends, this is a fabulous performing heavy handgun. Let's see what it looks like on this water bottle. Yes, indeed. Friends, I tell you what, we get some guns in that are certainly interesting, but this one from Hamilton Bowen is both interesting and exciting because, one, its capabilities are certainly beyond the realm of what most of us will commonly encounter. Now, you can see in comparison to the regular Super Red Hawk, they look very similar. Now, we of course changed the grip on our Super Red Hawk out for the whole grip, but honestly, this standard Ruger grip on the harder recoiling cartridge like this 50 Action Express, there may actually be some advantage because we just don't seem to get the recoil sensation that we have from other 50 Action Express guns, such as this Grizzly here. Now, this conversion on the Ruger Super Red Hawk has a 6.5-inch barrel, and of course it is a 5-shooter loading with that full moon clip. It is just about the same size as the LAR Grizzly. And don't get me wrong, the Grizzlies are very, very fine semi-automatics, but this is a horse of a different, not only a different color, a whole different breed. Let me tell you what, it is lighter than the Grizzly 50 there. Of course, another advantage the revolver has for any cartridge, it doesn't throw your empties all around, so that's important to a lot of us that are hand loaders. I'll tell you what, friends, I have read for years about Hamilton Bowen's work, and some of the nicest things have been said about the stuff that comes out of their gun shop, and I tell you what, it is no joke. This looks as much like a factory. In fact, it looks a little better, to tell you the truth, in my estimation, than the factory gun itself. It certainly has been smoothed and slicked up somewhat. They really do as nice a conversion as I've ever seen on a factory gun of any type. I tell you, they have a whole list of products for the Ruger handguns because they sort of specialize in Rugers, although they do some work on Smith & Wessons and other guns, but on the big calibers. Hamilton's done a lot of work with the Ruger single actions, making the super calibers on the Ruger single actions, and honestly, I didn't know they made this conversion for the Super Red Hawk. They also do different conversions on the standard Red Hawk gun and on the other Ruger guns, but this is such a neat concept because literally with this full moon clip you have a very rapid loading super powered handgun that's portable. Now a gun like this certainly would qualify as a hunting handgun, and we're going to check its accuracy in a few minutes. I have a feeling it's going to shoot extremely well, but this gun will neatly go in a holster, and with the 50 Action Express cartridge, it is a very, very powerful handgun consideration there. The 50 Action Express runs a 325 grain bullet, and we have the Spear Gold Dot ammunition here today. 325 grain bullet out of this gun, because we chronographed it earlier, it averages over 1,400 feet per second. And I was thinking, since this was a revolver with a barrel to cylinder gap, that it wasn't going to run, say, quite as fast as the semi-automatics of similar size. We've got several semi-automatics here, but our Grizzly here runs that same cartridge out of its 5¼ inch barrel at about 1,330 or 40 feet per second. Our AMT runs at about the same velocity with a 6 or so inch barrel, but this Bowen conversion runs that cartridge at over 1,400 feet per second as an average. Now wait a minute, friends, that's also 1,400 foot-pounds of muzzle energy. Now we've taken quite a step beyond the factory 44 Magnum load. Now of course the 44 Magnum from Corbin in the heavyweight bullet, like the 280 grain cartridge we showed you here recently on the program, yes, that's going to be much closer to the 50 Action Express, but still, as far as commonly encountered factory ammunition, you might be in Alaska on a fishing trip and forget your ammunition, didn't have it flown up or forgot to bring it or whatever else, or somebody took it, or you shot it all up, and you wanted to go down to your sporting goods store there and buy some ammunition. Now if you've got a heavily loaded 45 Colt, you're out of luck, because that is strictly a hand load or the Corbin Magnum loading proposition there. But as far as what you're commonly going to encounter, well, you can actually find 50 Action Express ammunition at a lot of gun shops all around. And so literally that is one advantage, because truthfully, friends, the heavy 45 Colt will do about anything that the 50 Action Express will do, and certainly past 50 or so yards it'll do a lot of it better. But as far as a factory round that you're going to find, Shooting Show will be right back after these important messages. Stay with us. You know, friends, all of us as shooting enthusiasts should be subscribing to Shotgun News, the trading post for anything that shoots. 3 big issues monthly with literally thousands and thousands of firearms bargains. Give them a call, 1-800-345-6923, a very inexpensive subscription price. Again, 1-800-345-6923. Subscribe today. Now, friends, what do Jim Clark Sr., K. Clark Michalik, Jerry Michalik, and Jim Clark Jr. have in common? You can find them all at Clark Custom Guns in Princeton, Louisiana, one of the finest custom gun shops in the entire country. They offer all sorts of custom packages on 1911s and other semi-automatics, from race guns to custom carry guns. They also offer a number of different custom packages for the Ruger 1022, and also have some very economically priced new 1022s in stock. Clark Custom Guns offers some of the best revolver packages available anywhere, including action jobs on your Smith & Wesson or some other fine revolvers. In addition to custom work, they also have a completely stocked gun shop, anything from bullets to powder to accessories that you might want. Clark Custom Guns offers some shooting classes. You need to call for availability. Friends, it's certainly good for the shooting show, but good for yourselves when you call and get a Clark Custom Guns catalog. They have all sorts of things listed about their products and services and excellent prices. Give them a call. Area 318-949-9884. Again, 318-949-9884. Clark Custom Guns, the complete custom gun shop. Give them a call today. Tell them you saw it on the shooting show. Shooting Show will be right back after this break for your local cable company or TV station. And I see this as a survival gun, as a a self-defense gun if you're fishing in bear country, or maybe you want to carry this in addition to your high-powered rifle. This would be a tremendous backup gun for your high-powered rifle, because you've got enough strength here in the cartridge, and certainly you have the reliability that this Bowen package has, that it is going to be an extremely powerful and reliable handgun. Well, let's see it in action. Of course, you saw it a few minutes ago when we shot at the opening there. Well, let's take a look. We'll go ahead and load our. That is so neat, and you'll notice, in fact, let's do this now. Take a look. We're familiar with the full moon clips that go in the Smith & Wesson revolver here. We're familiar with that. However, this is a much larger edition. See the 45 ACP here in the clip, and of course your 50 Action Express. It's the same principle as on a 1917 or 625 Smith & Wesson revolver, just converted over to the Super Red Hawk here. Great idea, and it is a fast loading proposition. Well, let's take a look at a couple of shots here and see what you think in recoil. And of course I'm wearing my pass glove because just on shooting any of the heavier stuff, it just helps. It's not as fatiguing out here. I'm trying to save my wrist. We want to do shows for a long time to come, and I really am right-handed. I'd rather not switch over to my left hand to shoot these big guns. So that's why. And these are really, if you're recoil sensitive, or some of the ladies who are shooting maybe some Magnum handguns, maybe the grip doesn't fit them exactly, this pass recoil glove is really a good idea, because it's pretty amazing stuff. Whatever that padding material is there is pretty amazing stuff. It's soaking up recoil. Well, let's take a look. And yes, these things are loud. Hearing protection is imperative. Now, if I had a bear chasing me, I don't believe I'd worry about stopping and putting my earplugs in. I believe I'd rather take that chance than take a sure chance of being gnawed on severely by a grizzly bear or some other, say a big cat or something. But this 50 Action Express would have a tremendous amount of stopping power. Say, you know, a lot of places in the country now there are mountain lions, and they've been endangered on the endangered species list so long they've multiplied the whole mess of them, and they're not afraid of people. And honestly, friends, if it comes down to my life or shooting a doggone mountain lion, big cat, there's no contest. I'm going to shoot the cat. You know, we're just not going to worry about it. We'll argue about it later, but I'm not going to see me or someone in my family brutally attacked by some animal, person either for that matter, if I can help it. If I have a gun available, that's what these things are for, is for defense, for protection. Take a couple of shots with it, see what you think. We'll shoot a couple of times double action here. Now see, friends, you definitely know it went off, but I just don't think it's that bad. See, like I say, you've got some recoil there, but it's and it is more than, say, a 44 Magnum, but what combination this is, apparently it works pretty well. Of course, the Ruger does come with a rubber grip, but it's just not that bad. Let's shoot the semi-automatic, same cartridge, and see what you think. Of course, our Grizzly here has a compensator on it, but let's just see what you think. Out of my hands today. It's hard to tell much difference, friends. I thought, well, let me tell you what, friends, these Grizzlies are as good a semi-automatic as money can buy. But you see there, on a dangerous game animal, the revolver is definitely a consideration, because every semi-automatic, I don't care what it is, every last one of them, they can jam, they will jam, they will malfunction. Like I said, this Grizzly is as good a gun as any semi-automatic built, and we had a little malfunction there. Thankfully, I was able to clear it quickly. In this particular case, I saw that the cartridge just stuck there on the feed ramp, no problem, just bump it. So anyway, in fact, let me offer this. This Grizzly is an almost brand new gun, and to give a fair comparison, it really needs to be shot a couple hundred times to break it in. Now, that's true on any of them. But anyway, you did see an advantage that the revolvers do have. Okay, let's try it again. See, I don't know. It's hard to tell. The semi-automatic has more of a straight back recoil, but honestly, of course we did apply our safety. Honestly, that big revolver is certainly, it's no worse at all to shoot than the semi-automatic Grizzly, and maybe a little user-friendly, or a little user-friendlier. Well, let me unload this thing, in fact, and put it down. Yes, and it is empty. Okay, friends, really, to find out the great products that Hamilton Bowen does make, what you need to do is call them for one of their catalogs. They have a very nice catalog, and their work is not inexpensive, but then again, it is not that. For what you get, it's still pretty much a bargain, because you get absolutely first-rate quality in combinations that you just can't get from the factory. Well, I'll tell you what, let's do. We've got a paper target up out here. Let's go ahead and shoot the gun at 25 yards, and we have a scope here we can mount easily. That's one of the neat things about the Super Red Hawk system. You have scope mounts that are very easy to put in place. It's very quick and simple, and honestly, on these guns that I have tried, when you mount the scope, it may not come back exactly in zero. Before I took the gun hunting, honestly, this is a real consistent scope mount, but I believe if I were you, I would check it before I took the gun hunting. If I took the scope off and then put it back on, just for the sake of a game animal, there's no need in losing a game animal because your scope was not zeroed in, so I believe I would check it. They're pretty good, but still, that's something I would do. Well, we're going to tighten our scope down, and let's go ahead and try it on our 25-yard target and see what it does. Friends, this shooting show is very important to all of us. If you would like to help us stay on the air and save money on your long-distance phone bill, please give our friends, the Garys, a call, 1-800-648-8411. There are some business opportunities available where some of you could really make some serious money if you so desire. Please give these people a call if you would. Help us stay on the air and help yourselves save some money. Again, that number, 1-800-648-8411. Do it for yourselves, and please do it for the shooting show. Friends, I tell you what, we're going to, after the first shot, we'll check our zero and see where it is shooting. And like I said, these scope mounts from Ruger are pretty good about going back in the same place, but if I was going to be doing any shooting at 75 or 100 yards, I believe I certainly would be sure and re-zero the scope, or certainly check the zero before I went hunting if I'd taken my scope off. But what we're doing out here today, it's not critical if we miss a target. But if you're hunting a game animal, well, you owe it to yourself and the game animal to make a quick and humane kill. Okay, got it set up here firmly in our rest on our sure sight here. This is really a neat little system here, friends. Tell you what, I found out I can shoot better off the sure sight here than I could off just the sandbags. Okay, get in position here. Cock the gun. It does have, on our scale, it showed a 3-pound trigger in single action and a 10.5-pound trigger in double action, which is considerably better than the stock gun. See what it does. Yes, indeed. Yeah, it's got more steam than a .44 Magnum. Yes, it does. But looking through our scope here, and our target is pretty close to our bullseye. Pretty close. We're going to leave it alone. Okay, let's shoot it. We'll go ahead and run a 5-shot group here and just see what it will do. Now, friends, if I'm measuring here, this is 1.25 inches for 5 shots. Here's our bullseye right here. I think that's pretty terrific, because we've only got one brand of factory ammunition. 1.25 inches, 1.25 inches for 5 shots at 25 yards with a tremendous amount of power. I think that is excellent performance, well, from any revolver, to tell you the truth, and for any a handgun, whether it be semi-automatic or a revolver. Excellent performance. Now, friends, what we're going to do, we're going to take our scope off, back off, and I trust that when it goes back on, it will be close enough to zero, certainly where we can do our accuracy testing. We'll do that in just a few minutes, but now let's go ahead and we're going to shoot the gun for some speed. And really what I see is any gun of this sort, certainly as a defensive weapon against a bear, against a big cat. Here in the South we have wild hogs. I think that they're descendants of the Russian boar. Don't ask me how they got here, I'm not sure. I've heard different stories, but we definitely have some hogs in the woods that this would be an ideal firearm, one to hunt them with, because typically your hunting distances on wild hogs is sometimes a little closer than we like, believe me. And they are tenacious animals, and let me tell you what, an injured hog or one that thinks that you're threatening, an old sow that thinks you're threatening her little pigs, she will come after you, and they can hurt you. I'm talking about they can do some serious damage to you. And a gun like this, in 50 Action Express, this very portable revolver, would be just an ideal gun for that. You know, I was concerned about bullet pool, and we covered this recently on another program, because this is a semi-automatic pistol cartridge, a rimless cartridge. In fact, you see in comparison here to the .44 Magnum, it's quite a bit bigger than a .44, but the rim size is actually the same. And that was an idea that I think the people from Magnum Research, when they designed their Desert Eagle to run 50 Action Express, they just took their .44 Magnum size breech face there and just enlarged their chamber and came up with the 50 Action Express. It's a darn good cartridge, one that I think we're going to be seeing more of, because one, there are more guns getting out there. When Freedom Arms chambered their single action, their Casull in a 50 Action Express, I was one of the people who said, I don't know if that's going to work, because since there's not a roll crimp on the bullet, I was thinking that under the severe recoil these guns do have, that possibly the bullet might pull forward out of the case under recoil. But that hasn't happened in anything we've shot. In fact, as our friend up in Kansas explained to me, he thinks that the ledge there in the chamber that the case mouth headspace is on, he thinks under recoil it actually comes back and tightens down against the mouth of the cartridge there on the bullet. And of course these are big, thick, strong cases too, which would certainly be a help there. But oddly enough, these these big cartridges like this 50 Action Express seem to work just as well in revolvers as they do in the semi-automatics. Anyway, something else I want to show you briefly before we get into, we're talking about certainly defense from animals. And this gun, if a gun will shoot into an inch or inch and a quarter, 25 yards, it's probably going to be at least 4 or 5 inches out at 100 yards. And we're going to find out in just a few minutes when we shoot it on a 100-yard range here. But this would be an excellent deer gun. I tell you what, friends, this would be a terrific deer cartridge for someone that enjoys handgun hunting. Put one of these scopes on here so you can see better, or practice with the gun with open sights. A lot of us from arrest with these excellent sights that Bowen has put on these guns, you really could hunt deer easily with open sights out, I think, to 100 yards, and with a scope probably out to 125, 150 yards anyway. You certainly have the energy left in the bullet there to do it. So let me show you something here on, this is a neat gizmo that Hamilton sent down here with this. See, you've got the problem with any clip-loaded revolver. It's sort of difficult to get the hulls out, or if you got a loaded round, to get them out of the clip there. And Hamilton sent a little gizmo here that all you do, you slide over the cartridge like so, and slide up there in place and just turn, and there it just brings it right out of the clip. A terrific idea and a good accessory. They did send that to us, and I thought that was such a neat idea. Okay, we have another loaded clip here. Tell you what, let's do, and I really like that, this instantaneous reloading. You know, there it is, 5 rounds just quick. Believe me, 5 rounds of 50 Action Express is a bunch. That's a lot, because you got a tremendous amount of power there. Let's do something. Take our marker here. Now that if you have a wild hog or a big cat or a bear, and I've known of several people that had bears literally break into their hunting camp, and this is no joke. Let me tell you what, a grizzly nose to nose, that 50 Action Express, I don't know if I'd want to go with a hollow point bullet. I might buy a full metal jacket or a soft nose bullet, or there are some loads out there with soft nose bullets. I think that's what I would have for bear, because you're going to want that penetration. But for an animal like a mountain lion, and maybe even the solid bullet on hogs, I'm not sure, but for mountain lion or deer, something like that, the hollow point is just fine. But where you really wanted the deep penetration, in fact, I'm going to talk to Corbine. I talked to Peter and the fellows this week, and I'll find out if they're making a 50 Action Express. And let me tell you what, if Corbine makes 50 Action Express, it's going to be memorable. Trust me on this one. You know, Catherine, one of the keys to liberty in this country is the private ownership of these firearms. But you know, something else that is absolutely essential is information. And yes, you have it, in fact. Friends, this is the new cover of the New American magazine. This is absolutely the finest source of news available in this country today. How many of us really believe the organized media? Do you?
No.
And I think most of us don't. There's a reason for it, because so much of the time on television and in the newspapers, we're flatly not told the truth. Well, friends, that is one thing in the New American magazine you can count on, is the truth. You can get a 6-month subscription to the New American by sending $22 and calling this number. It's 1-800-727-TRUE, and those numbers are 1-800-727-8783. And please tell them you saw it on our shooting show here. This is the new cover that they've been using now for some time. And the good news is, for the first time, the New American is available on some selected newsstands around the country. But the best way to get it is have them send it to your home. Absolutely the finest news magazine available in this country. The New American, $22 for a 6-month subscription, 1-800-727-TRUE. Friends, give them a call today, and please tell them you saw it here on our shooting show.
The Shooting Show will be right back after this break for your local cable company or TV station.
Friends, this shooting show is very important to all of us. If you would like to help us stay on the air and save money on your long-distance phone bill, please give our friends, the Garys, a call, 1-800-648-8411. There are some business opportunities available where some of you could really make some serious money if you'd so desire. Please give these people a call if you would. Help us stay on the air and help yourselves save some money. Again, that number, 1-800-648-8411. 8411. Do it for yourselves, and please do it for the shooting show. You know, friends, this custom Ruger 1022 from Clark Custom Guns will hit that small shot stop out there all day long. In fact, it'll hit a target less than half that size with target ammunition. If you can sit here and aim the gun accurately, it'll sure do it. I tell you what, friends, this is such a neat little gun. Now, you may be saying, well, heck, you have a standard Ruger 1022, maybe like this one over here, and maybe you'd like for it to shoot a lot better than it does, or maybe you'd like to be able to shoot a lot better. Well, listen, one of the secrets to this Clark gun's accuracy is in the very fine trigger that they have installed in this gun. And guess what? You can buy a kit from Clark Custom Guns, the Clark's match hammer and trigger for the Ruger 1022. You can even buy a tape explaining how to install it. If you buy both of them together, you'll get a $10 discount on your total purchase. Friends, this is a great idea for anyone who wants to improve the accuracy on their 1022. Friends, whether you're a squirrel hunter or a target shooter, or you just want to be able to shoot your 1022 better, give the good folks at Clark Custom Guns a call and order this match hammer and trigger and the tape, which shows you in detail how to install it. This is a great idea. It will help a lot of us shoot better. Give Clark's a call, area 318-949-9884, and order the match trigger and hammer for the Ruger 1022. I think you'll be well pleased. Also get the tape now. Don't forget the tape. Okay, let's draw a circle here. About so. Okay, that's about, this would be an area that we could count on what we would need to be able to hit. rapidly if we had if literally we had an animal on top of us, like a wild boar or a bear or a big cat. And since I don't have a moving target system here on the range, and I'm working on it, hadn't quite figured it all out yet, but I'm working on it. Anyway, we're going to do multiple shots. We'll do a shot on this target, back to this one, and back to this one as fast as I can. We'll compare guns here and just see what it actual time with our timer. And let's see what it looks like, because that will give us movement as if we were having to track a game animal. And certainly an animal that could might be hunting us, you know what I'm saying? So, we have our, in fact, let's do this. Let's put got our timer here. And anyway, let's try the drill with our 44 Magnum Super Red Hawk. So that's kind of our control. Now I would suspect that it is going to be faster than the 50 Action Express or the in the semi-automatic or in the conversion there, but you won't have nearly as much power. With the 44 Magnum with a 240 grain bullet, you're looking at about 1,000 or 1,100 foot-pounds of energy, whereas with the 50 Action Express, you're looking at, certainly from the revolver, over 1,400. So quite a jump in power with the 50. But let's use this as sort of a control, because a lot of us are familiar with 44 Magnums. A lot of us have shot them. Okay, we'll get our timer on, and we'll go from the low ready position. And remember, only hits count. Remember that. Only hits count. So, 4 shots, 1, 1, 1, 1. Let's see how long it takes with the 44 Magnum. Press our start button, get in position. Okay, 2.04 seconds. Hits here, good hits here. We'll go ahead and tape our target. But that's with the 44 Magnum. And again, these are aim shots. This is not just running them as fast as I can, because that doesn't count. If we're just going for a speed contest, that's one thing. But we're talking about aim shots that need to be pretty close together. That could mean the difference in us going to the hospital or not getting back in one piece. Let's go ahead and tape our target. So 2.04 seconds, that's with a 44 Magnum, 240 grain bullet running over 1,400 feet per second, a good, strong 44 Magnum load. Okay, let's try our Grizzly next. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we got enough ammunition here. It's a great semi-automatic 1911 pattern. And we'll have the Grizzly on cocked and locked. A lot of people would carry them that way in a holster with a thumb protector here. Have them ready for business anyway. Okay, 2.04 seconds with a standard Super Red Hawk 44 Magnum full charge. Now let's try our 50 semi-automatic. See what we get. Punch our timer. Okay, good hits here, good hits here. 1.99 seconds, so I was actually a little faster than I was with the 44 Magnum. Go ahead and put that down. We know, let's double check, we know this gun's unloaded. We only had 4 in the magazine. All right, let's tape our targets briefly. Good hits, and that is pretty good because we were actually faster than the 44 Magnum revolver by a little bit. And good hits. If we get in that neighborhood somewhere, 204 for control. Okay, now we have the Bowen 50 Action Express conversion, and realize that you're getting better velocity out of this revolver than you are that semi-automatic. Like I said, I don't know why. But we'll certainly accept that bonus there. Okay, get in position. 4 shots, fully loaded gun here. In position, punch our timer. Well, believe it or not, good hits here, good hits here. How about 1.84 seconds? So maybe I'm just trying harder. I don't know, because I wouldn't expect to be any faster. But yeah, after shooting these boomers, my wrist is beginning to let me know that we have been doing some shooting. But see, friends, 1.84 seconds, maybe because I don't know why I was faster. I didn't expect that, but we have good hits here, good hits here. So certainly you're at no disadvantage speed-wise with the revolver. In this case, I was actually a little faster than with our Grizzly and with our 44 Magnum. Maybe something to this grip. Well, I'll tell you what, let's put our scope back on it. And let's go up to our 100-yard bench rest up there, our standing bench rest that we typically use. And we'll see how close this thing is when we try our scope there. We'll just see how close it is. And let's shoot it for accuracy at the 100-yard range. Let's do that now. Well, friends, we have a 5-round clip here. Go ahead and load our Bowen 50 Action Express on this Super Red Hawk. And let's see what it'll do out here at our 100-yard range. We have some paper targets out there. And this is a Leupold, I believe, a 2.5X scope. That's what it says. And I tell you what, now that we know what it'll do at 25 yards, I didn't adjust the scope any. Let's just leave it alone because it's pretty close to our bullseye there. And let's see what it does out at 100 yards. Okay, let's get started on the rest of our groups here. We want so you better hold on to it so you get a pretty good thump there, and it does rise in your hand. But apparently the way the grip is shaped, and I've never been a fan of the standard Ruger grip. I prefer the Hogue grip as we have on our Super Red Hawk. But I tell you what, there may be something to this grip shape reducing the felt recoil, because it's really not that bad. I think the semi-automatics give you a greater sensation of recoil than this gun does. Okay, we're not going to bore you with having to sit and watch all 10 of these rounds fired, but we're going to go ahead and we'll check the results in just a moment. Friends, I'm holding the XM15 from Bushmaster, and this is one of the finest AR-15 type guns that I've ever had the pleasure to shoot or certainly handle. You know, it looks just like the guns from the people with the little colt on there, the little horse on their receiver there. But I'll tell you what, they don't give up anything in quality that we've seen. In fact, the best groups that I have ever shot with an AR-15 type gun came from this rifle right here, this Bushmaster. My standard Sporter, the best group I ever got with it was 1.5 inches, and we got this one down to groups under 1 inch at 100 yards with open sights. And honestly, that's as good as I can see, friends. I just can't shoot better than that. A better shooter might shoot better than that. But absolutely, these are terrific guns. Bushmaster has a number of different variations, such as this tactical model. Of course, this has a Trijicon sight on it, and it has a fluted heavy barrel. A very, very nice combination. Certainly for quick target acquisition is an excellent idea. And reliability has just been excellent with all these guns. I tell you what, you might give Bushmaster a call. They have a complete lineup of parts for the AR-15s, also for the 1911s. So what you need to do is give them a call and get their catalog. So friends, honestly, with this very fine Bushmaster, take 14, whatever. Hit it. 3, 2, 1. Friends, this very fine Bushmaster rifle, I tell you what, whether you need slow aimed fire, accurate fire, or maybe you need rapid and accurate fire, give them a call. Ask for their entire catalog, for their parts. They're just excellent. They're very nice people, and their prices will be better than you suspect. I'll tell you what, the prices are really terrific. So give Bushmaster a call and find out about their entire product line. And be sure and tell them you saw it on the Shooting Show. For information on the entire Bushmaster product line, give them a call, 1-800-998-7928. Again, 1-800-998-7928. Shooting Show will be right back after these important messages. Stay with us.
The Shootin' Show will be right back after this break for your local cable company or TV station.
Friends, this Shooting Show is very important to all of us. If you would like to help us stay on the air and save money on your long-distance phone bill, please give our friends, the Garys, a call, 1-800-648-8411. There are some business opportunities available where some of you could really make some serious money if you'd so desire. Please give these people a call if you would. Help us stay on the air and help yourselves save some money. Again, that number, 1-800-648-8411. 8411. Do it for yourselves, and please do it for the Shooting Show. Now, friends, I tell you what, this is, to me, is very impressive because I've been shooting out here all day, and probably my hands are a little jittery, my nerves. Anytime you shoot these higher-powered handguns, we've shot quite a bit today, shooting several guns, including this 50 Action Express Bowen, and I think this is excellent performance. If we just shot the one load that we had handy and had plenty of, which was the Spear 325 grain jacketed hollow point. That's a very fine factory cartridge. And you can see what it did. Our first group went into 3 7/16 inches for 5 shots, which I think is excellent performance. And our second group went 3 3/8 inches for 5 shots. And yes, if I was going to continue shooting the gun with a scope, I would adjust it and put it over here, probably within the limitations of the cartridge. 100-150 yards is really as far as you want to shoot a game animal at that distance, or certainly with the capabilities of the cartridge, because you do get into things like if you start going out at distances further than that, you darn sure better be able to judge your distance properly so you can hold over what amount you'd need to. So really, most of the handgun cartridges, like the 44 Magnum, 45 Colt, and the 50 Action Express, really 100-150 yard cartridges for the average person, because the handguns are going to be more challenging to shoot. I think this is terrific accuracy, and of course our earlier group at just over an inch at 25 yards show what the gun will do. With a better shooter, you might be able to get it down less than 3 inches, maybe 2.5 inches, so like I said, with a better shooter than myself. So I am so impressed with the capabilities of the gun. I tell you what, friends, Hamilton Bowen builds a Rolls-Royce quality conversion here. And I tell you, this is a gun that Ruger probably should build, but it would be so expensive if they did build it that it would be out of the realm of a lot of us. But certainly these guns from Hamilton Bowen are affordable. It is a Cadillac class gun. It really is. And they're very, very nice people. I tell you what, they have a complete list of products, including, remember that cylinder pin for the Super Blackhawk here. In fact, as we speak, Clark Custom Guns is putting one of the Bowen pins in our 45 Colt Bisley Ruger that we're experimenting with higher powered loads. They make that pin to go in that will keep the pin in the gun, because as a lot of you know, when you start really shooting the more powerful cartridges out of the single action Rugers, well, that cylinder pin will come out, and that's the last thing you want if you're out there in the field hunting and you need to depend on your gun. You darn sure need that cylinder pin to stay in place. Hamilton does make that. Of course, he has his excellent rear sights for the Rugers, which is a dramatic improvement over the factory sight there. Tell you what, friends, give him a call, because these are superior products. His conversions are absolutely as good as it gets, and they're very fine people too. We appreciate Hamilton loaning us this 50 Action Express Super Red Hawk for our program today. I know a lot of you have really enjoyed seeing it. For information about the products of Bowen Classic Arms, give them a call, area 423-984-3583. Again, area 423-984-3583. How you doing, sir?
Well, I'm doing okay personally, Johnny, but I'm kind of upset at Congress and some of the people in Congress. For example, apparently the way to get some sneaky provisions into the law is not to put them in the original bill and let it go through committee hearings and so forth, but is instead just to offer amendments once the bill gets to the floor. Mm-hmm. And that's what's happened. The United States Supreme Court last year in United States versus Lopez held that the attempt of Congress to regulate guns just because they were in a school zone was an unauthorized use of the commerce power. It didn't have anything to do with interstate commerce, and held the law unconstitutional. Well, Senator Cole, K-O-H-L, stuck it back in the law. Section 657 of the Treasury Postal portion of H.R. 3610, which was the omnibus spending bill, and they put that in there to set up thousands of gun ban zones across roads statewide, where local police or the BATF can arrest unsuspecting motorists, drivers who have a firearm in their car. Victims will face 5 years in prison. That provision reenacts the school zone gun ban law that was ruled unconstitutional by the U.S. Supreme Court. I think that's arrogance on horseback for Congress to do that. And the provision creates gun ban zones nearly 1/2 mile in diameter around every school in the country, including private schools. And incidentally, the way schools are defined, it also takes care of people who do homeschooling. That's a school.
Now wait a minute, has this already passed?
It is passed and has been signed by the president.
You mean right now?
Right now.
You cannot have a gun in a school zone in the United States?
Apparently there's an exception for being in your own home, which is where we are now. I'm across the street from a school, a private school, but a school just the same. A couple of things about the law. A person that lives within 1,000 feet of a school, if you wanted to take a hunting trip, you can't take your gun out of your home and put it in your car, and if the car's on the street, you can't put it in your car because that constitutes a violation of that gun zone thing. He or she could not carry the gun to a car parked on the street unless he determined that such action was approved by school officials. I think it's an outrageous usurpation of power, or attempted usurpation of power by the Congress and by the President, when the Supreme Court has already declared it unconstitutional just this last year.
Now wait a minute, Judge. You mean, of course we were talking about this a while back. Friends, we told you about this, that this was coming. But literally in every school zone in the country, if you go through, even if you have a concealed carry license, anything like that, you go through a school zone, you are subject to be stopped, searched, and sent to jail for 5 years. Is that right, with a gun in your car?
That's right. I still think, of course, that you've got to have probable cause to stop them in the first place.
But let's say you had a flat, or you had an accident, a fender bender or something.
Oh, certainly an accident.
Okay, friends, hear us now. You can go to jail for 5 years, and a lot of us in the South and a lot of parts of the Midwest and other places in the country too, for that matter, travel with a firearm within reach. I mean, it's our constitutional right here in Louisiana. You can have a gun anywhere in your automobile, on your person, or wherever else without any sort of license. And you're saying if you go through a school zone with a gun in your car, now get this is important, get this. Here's what they've done to us now. you can go to jail for 5 years just by having a loaded gun in your car.
That's correct.
Or unloaded, for that matter. Unloaded.
I don't know about unloaded, certainly loaded, but an unloaded gun is useless.
Okay, friends, here we are. They've got it.
Now we're within about 4 weeks, maybe 5 weeks of an election. And this is the reason why I harp on the subject of politics all the time. It is so important to get Clinton out of office. O-U-T, out of office. You can bet that as soon as he's reelected, or even if he's not reelected, while he's a lame duck president, he'll pardon all of the people in connection with Whitewater.
Oh, sure. That's a good one.
Probably pardon everybody else that he can think of. The Section 658, the next section of the Treasury Postal portion of HR, that's House Resolution 3610, is another terrible provision, because it for the first time in the history of the nation, it makes a misdemeanor, a certain misdemeanor. Remember, misdemeanors are minor crimes, felonies are major crimes. A misdemeanor to prohibit persons who've been convicted of a misdemeanor involving domestic violence, and that means slapping your wife. It means your wife slapping your husband. That's
right
too.
That happens probably as often as anything else. Wives slap husbands, and if she's complained on, then they can't have guns in her home anymore.
That's right. And
spanking children.
And furthermore, it orders a gun seized. This thing is so inclusive that we don't have time on this program to really tell you, except to tell you this: make sure you vote. If you've got some liberal friends that are going to vote for Clinton, take them to a party the night before and get them so drunk they'll be hungover. Just do something. I'm not one of these people who believes that everybody ought to vote. I think the wise, the honest, the intelligent should vote. And if they aren't one of those, then for the love of their country, they ought to stay away from the polls.
Hey, this video is going to introduce you to the sport of black powder hunting. In this video, there's information for both the beginning black powder hunter and the veteran black powder hunter.
Friends, to order this great black powder instructional tape called Desert Star Productions, it's only $19.95 plus $3 shipping and handling. And Catherine, how can they get in touch with the folks at Desert Star?
All they have to do is call 1-800-979-0161, extension 148.
And that extension is very important. And give us that number one more time for the black powder tape from Desert Star Productions.
1-800-979-0161, extension 148.
And tell them you saw it on the shooting show. Friends, we've run out of time on today's program. We'll go back and see some more tape footage of the Soldier Fortune Convention on the next program. Remember our radio show on the great American Freedom Network, Galaxy 6, Channel 14, 5.8 audio, or on local affiliates all over the country. And please remember our gospel show, Telstar 401, Channel 18. So from 10 to 10:30 Eastern Time. So we'll see you on the next show.